Hello my friends, and guess what? We are here for yet another homemade DIY gift video. This is the one I was so excited about. This is the one I couldn't wait to show you guys. If you're on TikTok, if you're on Pinterest, if you're on Instagram, you know the hottest craze this year are hot chocolate bombs. Well, I knew I had to give them a try. So that's what we are making today. We are making hot chocolate bombs. It looks like a lot of ingredients, but some of them are totally optional. The only thing that you definitely have to have is a silicone mold to make your hot chocolate bombs. You can get these pretty much anywhere on Amazon. You can get them in craft stores. You can get them at baking supply stores. The best size to use is the 2.5 inch, because that gives you the perfect size to get all of your hot cocoa mix and all of your special add-ins in there. So the pack I bought came with 2 of them. As long as they are silicone and as long as they are 2.5 inches, get the cheapest ones you can find. As long as they're food grade, because you can also use these to make bath bombs and stuff. I will not do that because once something else is in there, I don't want to use it again for food, but I think I am going to buy another set in a different color to have for bath bombs, because not this year, but that's on the menu for another time. So this is the first and the most important thing you need are the silicone molds. The next thing you're going to need, of course, is some chocolate to make them with. Now, you can use any kind of chocolate. You can use the colored melting wafers that you can buy in any of the craft stores. I happen to get these in bulk from the Amish market. I don't love the taste of these. These are okay for like decoration and stuff in my world. I just don't love the taste. I think they taste a little bit plasticky. But if you like them, use them, because they're the easiest things to definitely use. I am using chocolate chips. I'm going to use milk chocolate for this video, but you can also use semi-sweet. Now you can also just get melting chocolate and use that. Whatever kind of chocolate you want to use, whatever kind of chocolate melts the best. Compound chocolate, like the candy wafers, definitely melts nice and smooth, as do these in the microwave. So these are going to be the base of our bombs. And then you have your fun add-ons. And for me, those fun add-ons are marshmallows. Now, these are the dehydrated marshmallow bits. You do not have to use these. You can absolutely use regular mini marshmallows. You just don't put as many in, and that's okay because they're quadruple the size of these. But regular mini marshmallows work well. You can also grab some Christmas jimmies. I know, jimmies, that's what we call them here in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area. You guys know them as sprinkles, but you can use some of those, and you can also use some colored sugar if you want. And then for fun add-ons, some crushed peppermint. Now I just bought this because honestly I was being lazy and I liked all the colors. You can just get candy canes and crush them up. You can get candy canes at the dollar store. So if you want to make some peppermint ones, which I highly recommend, they are delicious, then get some crushed up candy canes. You can another main ingredient is hot cocoa mix. This is the hot cocoa mix we made a couple videos ago. It's the homemade mix, but you don't need to do that. You can just grab a canister of Swiss Miss and use that. That'll work fine. Now, some people make a homemade ganache and fill it with that. Yeah, I'm not getting into that. The powdered stuff is fine. Then to decorate the outside, I just have some white baking chips and my red wafers. And you can also get green, whatever. I just like to give a little bit of decoration on the outside of them. And you can also use, if you're going to make some peppermint and some not, you can kind of color code them. You know, like when you get the big box of Whitman's chocolate, you know what's in them by sometimes the colors that are on the top. You can do that. You're also going to need a microwave safe bowl to melt your chocolate. If that's how you're doing it, that's how I'm doing mine. If not, you can put this over a bowl of boiling water, make it into a double boiler. And I also use parchment paper, and we'll use that when we put our molds in the freezer to harden the chocolate, because you know I'm impatient, and I pop them in the freezer and they're ready in 5 minutes. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is get our chocolate melting. Now, I'm not quite sure how much chocolate we're going to need to fill however many. So I'm just gonna start. There was probably about 1/4 of a bag left in this one. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit more. I like to personally work in small batches because I think it's just easier for me instead of trying to do too many at one time, because then the chocolate starts to seize. Make sure your bowl is 110% clean, because if it's not, if there's anything in there, it could affect your chocolate melt. So I'm gonna pop this in the microwave on high for 30 seconds. And every 30 seconds, I'm going to stir it until it is the right consistency. So I'm gonna start that off and show you when it's the right consistency. Okay, this is after 1 minute and 30 seconds in 30-second intervals. Now when you take it out, if it looks like there's still chunks of chips in there, it's okay, stir it, because more than likely they will definitely melt for you. So this is nice and silky smooth. And now we're gonna start filling our molds. I'm just gonna plop some chocolate in. Then I'm gonna use the back of a spoon to just swirl it around the mold. You don't wanna make it too thin, because you don't want holes in it, and you wanna bring it all the way up. To the edge, because you need to have it, even if it's a little over the edge, that's fine, because we are going to trim off the edges. Okay, once they're all full, I'm just gonna kind of swirl it around and make sure. Then this is where our parchment paper comes in. I'm gonna lay down the parchment paper and flip it right over on the parchment paper. That way it's going to go down and coat the sides, and it's not gonna pull at the bottom. I'm gonna pop this in the freezer for 5 to 7 minutes, and then it will be set and we can start assembling. So here are our molds out of the freezer. Now, I don't really know how much this helps, but if you wear gloves while you're doing it, you get less fingerprints on it. So they say, I don't know who they is, but they say. I haven't found that to be too successful, but we're gonna try it. So then all you're gonna do is pull your mold away, and it pops right out. Look at that. Now I know my edges look horrible, but oh no, I thought that was a little hole. I know my edges don't look good, but it's okay, because we are going to smooth those out. So we're just gonna pop all these right out. Now, if you live somewhere that's really hot, although I will say it is 64 degrees in New Jersey today in December, how ridiculous is that? And we're supposed to get snow later in the week. We'll see. Okay, we're gonna pull those out. Now, to smooth the edges, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can take a small plate and you can heat it in the microwave for a minute and use that to smooth your edges. You can take a metal cookie sheet, and if you have a blowtorch, like for creme brulee and stuff, you can heat the back of it and use that, or this is the method I use. I have one of these little mug warmers. They also can be candle warmers or whatever. I turn that on and I put my plate on top of it, and I find that is the most consistent temperature and it works for me. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna turn my mold back over here, and we're gonna use this for a little holder. I'm going to take a sphere, put it on here, and melt down my edges until they are nice and flat. Then we're gonna start filling. So I am going to take about 2 tablespoons of the hot chocolate mix. And like I said, you can use an envelope, whatever. And then I'm going to take some of my dehydrated marshmallows, or you can use regular mini marshmallows, whatever you choose. Put those right in there, just about a tablespoon or so. Whatever you have room for, you can put in. And then I'm gonna take my jimmies, and I'm gonna put in about half a tablespoon or so. You can also use some colored sugar, whatever. You can get creative. Then we're gonna take another sphere, and once again, we're gonna clean up the edges, melt them down a little bit, because then we are gonna stick it right on top. Gently push it down until they mold together. I just clean up the edge. Now, mine are not perfect and beautiful like some of the ones you see on TikTok. But there we have the beginning of our hot chocolate bomb. How neat is that? And we're gonna put that aside, and we're gonna fill another one. And see, these are starting to get a little bit melty, so that's why I like to work in small batches. Put some hot cocoa mix in, and this one we're going to make candy cane flavored or peppermint flavored. So I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of the crushed candy canes. And hot cocoa is not hot cocoa without marshmallows. So we'll add some of those. We'll skip the jimmies this time. We're gonna take another one of our spheres. Uh-oh, see what's happening? They're getting too warm. They're sticking to the plate, so might not be a bad idea if it's warm where you are to keep them in the fridge while you're working. Like I said, it is really warm here in Jersey today. Just clean up the edge a little bit. And I'm gonna set this one aside so I remember that it's peppermint. And then let's decorate these because I'm gonna need to do, oh, you know what, it would probably be better if you kept it this way instead of the rounded side down. Here's our second batch. So let's do one more for you. And just make sure that if you are doing a variety of flavors, that you keep the peppermint ones separate. So if there's like especially a little kid who might not like that minty flavor. And that's when the decorations come into play. And periodically I will take a paper towel and clean this off. Adam's girlfriend and I are going to be having a hot cocoa bomb making marathon one of these days coming up as soon as her finals are over, because she wants to make them as gifts and I want to make some as gifts. So we are going to be in the kitchen a lot. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, this is definitely starting to melt in this warm weather. So let's get decorating these so we can get them back in the fridge. Now they will be fine at room temperature. but you might want to keep them in the fridge just in case it's warm. So I am going to start melting my 2 different colors, and we're going to come back and decorate. We have our decorating chocolate melted, and I'm just going to put it into a Ziploc bag. You can use a piping bag, but honestly, for something this small and not so detailed, Ziplocs work just as well. And cut off a tiny little corner. You want it thin. You don't want to cut off a whole lot. And you can always cut more off if you have to. That looks good. And we're going to do the same thing with our red. Now what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna take some of this and I'm just gonna make it look pretty. I'm just gonna pipe back and forth with some white. You also wanna let your decorating chocolate cool down just a little bit because you don't want it to melt your bomb. Then I'm gonna go back with some red. And then I'm going to just add a little bit of Jimmy's on top. And this one I think we'll just do white. Do you see that? That wasn't supposed to happen. This one's got a lot of chocolate on it. That's the problem sometimes with using sandwich bags, especially ones from the Dollar Tree. But that's okay. So we're gonna put these aside, and how I like to present them is I like to use cupcake liners. They fit very nicely right into the cupcake liner. This one's very chocolatey, oh my goodness. You know what, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit because that chocolate is really, really thick on there. And we're gonna bring this one over. This is our candy cane one. So, let's see if I can do this without making a mess this time. No, that bag is toast. So how about we just use red? Real life, people, real life. And then just so we know that this is the candy cane one, I'm just going to put some candy cane on top. That way you can tell. I'm gonna put that right in our holder. When this one dries a little bit, I will take this one out. I'm gonna show you how I'm going to present these. Okay, so we have our last two. I'm just gonna decorate those. And you know, you can get really creative and use different colors. To drizzle on. You can go, you know, if you're doing a milk chocolate bomb, you can do a dark chocolate drizzle. Just get creative. I'm keeping it simple because I'm a hot mess. This one is peppermint. And this one is plain. Okay, let's package these up and be done. My favorite way to package the hot cocoa bombs are in little tins. Now, I will tell you, this one is not quite deep enough. You can get ones, usually the round ones are much deeper than this. So you definitely want to get a deep tin. And depending on how many you're giving is the size of your tin. But we're just gonna, for filming purposes, we're gonna use this one. So I just put them, like I said, in the little cupcake liners. Nestle those in there. Of course, line it with like some nice tissue. And then pop your lid on. I'm not gonna push this down. Like I said, it's not deep enough. But that is a great way to give them. They look beautiful in there. Or if you're just giving one, you can once again pull out my favorite, which are the clear plastic bags from the Dollar Tree. I do love these. And the nice thing about these clear plastic bags is, look how pretty. You can see it and you know what it is. Tie it with a ribbon, and on my website, under the free printables, there is a label, and I forgot to print some out to show you guys, that says what to do with the hot cocoa bomb. And what you do is you put it in a mug, and then you add 8 ounces of either hot milk or hot water. Now, milk is definitely going to make it taste much richer, much nicer, but you can also use water because that's what you could use for the mix. So that is a choice, and it says both on the instruction tag. Now, what fun would it be if we didn't make one so you can see what they do? So let's make one. I have this in a big clear mug just so you can see it. Of course, we don't drink it out of this. We would definitely put it into a nice, coffee or tea mug, but I want you to be able to see. So I am just going to use water for filming purposes and not waste my milk. And I'm going to just slowly pour this in. And you'll see the hot chocolate bomb start to break down and open. And you stir it around. And all the marshmallows coming out. And there you have it. Now you just need to stir it up real good. And you have a very chocolatey, delicious cup of, this is peppermint cocoa. Absolutely delicious. And what a fun gift to receive because they are so pretty. So there you have it. The one I was most excited about, these hot chocolate bombs. Are mine perfect? Absolutely not. Do they have smudges? Do they have fingerprints? They do. But you get better as you go along. I was so worried about sticking them together and smoothing the edges. It's much better if you just stick it on top, push it down, and let it be. Don't try to close that rim. It'll close itself because that's when you're going to get the smudges. I learned that. Actually, I learned that doing this video. So they do take a little bit of time. They do take a little bit of work, but it's fun. And I know around here, bakeries are selling them and they are going for $6 each on the low end. That is crazy. But they are labor intensive, and that's probably why. So I think anyone that you present these to will absolutely love them, especially if they are hot cocoa lovers. Now, you can search Pinterest, you can search Google. There are a million recipes out there. I've seen so many different flavor ones, mocha and eggnog and creme brulee and salted caramel. I stuck with the basics because we kind of like the basics around here. And like I said, if you don't want to have a melting problem when it comes to after they are done, you're definitely going to want to use the candy melting wafers or some kind of compound chocolate that is shelf stable. The chocolate chips are not. They are going to get soft and they are going to melt because they are pure chocolate. They don't have the additives in them like the candy wafers do. So you just have to weigh your options and decide what's best for you. There is no wrong answer. So I hope you like these hot chocolate bombs. And if you did, let me know in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love you to subscribe. At the end, I will have a playlist of all of my homemade DIY gifts. You can click on that list on the end screen and it'll show you all the ones that I've done so far. So thanks again for taking time out of your day to spend a little time with me and watch my video. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.